So, good morning, everyone. This is Blockchain Bernie again, and this is my very first video where I interview someone. It's going to be the start of a big series, and I'm super psyched to have Dennis Sahlström here. And without further ado, I'll just leave it to you, Dennis, to introduce yourself.
Of course. Thank you so much, Bernie, for having me here. It's a great pleasure. So Dennis from Sweden, and I've been trading and investing since 2014, so almost 10 years now, and spent roughly, I think, between 15 to 20,000 hours in this field. Everything from trading and investing myself to teaching thousands of other people across the globe. So that's me in a nutshell.
All right, cool. Yeah, thanks so much for that intro. That sounds like, well, you're in trading and investing both for stocks and for crypto that I know. So I'm Blockchain Bernie. We're mostly be talking crypto and blockchain today. So what was your history? Kind of what drove you into this field? What was kind of the key experience that you had, maybe even in your youth or childhood or so, that brought you to this field?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I literally come from no financial background. I was a tour guide, ski instructor, you name it. And but I always worked with service, always helping other people and teaching other people actually. So that's a bit my background. But then I got introduced to trading and investing in 2014. And as with most people, I had zero strategies whatsoever. And unfortunately, it went quite well in the beginning. And I say unfortunately because I didn't know what I was doing. It was actually pure luck. So what happened was over 2 years, I lost 70% of my money and my family's money as well. And then I just thought, right, that was between 2014 and 17, a really low point in my trading and investing career, obviously. And I just thought to myself, there has to be another way, right? I see people are doing this and making this work. So that's when I found a course, and I actually went to a course with Investment Mastery with Marcus de Maria, and they just taught me, and everything just made sense. After I applied everything I learned from them, and of course after a lot of practice, then I mean it was literally, you can literally do it when you learn it with 20-30 minutes a day. It's more swing trading to catch the bigger swings. That was with stocks initially. So when I went there and I saw, my results started to become a lot better. I had proper risk management, trade management. I only took, the best trades I could find. So from 2016, I've been averaging 4.53% per month. That's the longest track record I have. And up until this date, that's between 45 to 60% a year, depending on the compounding. And then we just took those strategies and I started to work with Investment Mastery. And then I took those strategies together with Marcus and we adapted them to cryptos. So naturally, after the stock market, then when the cryptos came about, and we actually entered the crypto market late 2016, 17, and we were, parts of the bull market there. But the real time when we really got involved was between the bear market 2018 and forward. And we just applied the strategies, adapted them, and that was just another kind of bow to our quiver, or not a bow, an arrow to our quiver, I would say.
Oh wow, that sounds awesome! And yeah, thanks for giving us a few numbers there with your successes in the kind of interest rate, quote unquote, that you managed there. Um, and you're also active or co-managing an investment club. It's called Your Crypto Club. Can you give us a little bit of background about that? And yeah, feel free to name the URL. We'll post the link down in the description also, and a few numbers about that. So how successful is that club, and how many members and things like that?
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, I joined Investment Mastery. That's the company where I went to my course with. And now I'm very privileged and blessed to be the lead trader and trainer in Investment Mastery. So it's investment-mastery.com. And essentially, well, they started, I think, 16, 17 years ago, quite a long time ago. And Marcus has been trading and investing for 20 years. And essentially, I joined them in 2016. So I've only been with them for soon 8 years, which is quite a long time, actually. But so we really took, because trading and investing is quite difficult. And the institutions, the banks, they make it sound quite hard, frankly speaking. So we just want to simplify everything, to teach the everyday person how to trade and invest with, in 20, 30 minutes a day. And so we created online courses, your crypto club and also your trading club for stocks. So we kind of created those in order to teach general public in a great way. So it's an online course, it's a community. We have Q&As, we have webinars to support them in their journey and really teach them the foundation of investing and trading with simple strategies. And currently we have, I think, around between 2,000 and 3,000 active kind of members, paying clients, if you like, in our community. But over the years, I mean, before Corona, we actually had a live business where we went all around Europe to teach this live, right, in classrooms, and even we've been at schools teaching this as well. So we really, over the years, taught tens of thousands of people. But those are the current active members in our community, I would say, that are every day coming to our Q&As and webinars.
Yeah, thanks for that, which leads me to my next question. So seems like you have great experience over the years with community building. And I guess if you have a large community, you have all types of characters in there, right? You have narcissists in there that, abuse kind of the group for their purposes or whatever it might be. So what are the lessons learned for community building? What can our audience learn to do it right regarding community building?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Bernie. And I think community building is not easy, for sure, right? And in my humble opinion, I think that we're doing a quite good job at it. We can become a lot better as well. But I think there's some really foundational things that you can do. And by the way, there's so many things, like both on YouTube, you can do courses on how to build communities. But what really worked for us is that having clear rules and guidance. So in the community, whatever platform you're using, if it's Discord, if it's Telegram, if it's Facebook, doesn't really matter. I think you need to have a clear set of rules so people think that they're part of something. So they're part of a tribe, if you like this is how we do it here. Kind of mentality, which then of course makes sure that certain people that don't follow the rules or can apply to them, they can't be part of it, obviously. Like if you break the rules in the society, you go to prison, as an example. So it's not that bad in this, right? But just to make sure people belong to something. And then I think it's really important to give people a purpose, a why to be there. So we are very heavy in the mindset game. So we help people a lot with finding out, like, what is the reason they want to do this and be here. And with trading and investing, usually there's not a lot of people supporting you in that journey. So your family, your friends, they're like, what are you doing? They think. And so it's nice to have people that with the same interest and are as weird as you are, if you like, and as we are. So so that's another thing, right? To make sure that you create an environment where people have a strong enough reason why, and they know what's in it for them to be there. And then I think we as community hosts have a big responsibility there as well to make sure the community is engaged. So on a weekly basis, we ask them questions like, what are your weekly win? What questions do you have for the week? And we try to prompt answers. And then we have the client of the month as an example, where we highlight a client that's done really well, just so people say congratulations, and then they want to be the next maybe, because then they can relate to each other as well. And another aspect to this would be that during our Q&As, we even have members meetings, physical a few times a year as well, where we get people to network based on their region. We get them into on Zoom on breakout rooms. They can network in their region just to get to know each other and create small groups, and maybe even meet each other. So in that way, I think you can build a really good community, but it does take time and effort, and of course the willingness to always help and serve your people and clients.
All right, so that's great advice. Thanks. So getting back to crypto, and I know in your club you also have a track where you invest. So it's not only trading, right? You invest in upcoming startups and things like that, and that's how the two of us met, by the way. So you and some of your community members invested into Xandeum. So when you look at these early stage blockchain crypto startups, and we all know, the world is full of startups that we don't really want to engage with. So how do you spot the right ones? What is kind of what criteria does a crypto startup have to meet in order to be on your radar?
Mm. Yeah, no, very good question as well. I mean, we have many different strategies, and we teach people really good, asset allocation is important. We believe that investing into startups is risky, so you should never invest more than you can afford to lose, even though you do due diligence. I mean, Amazon during the dot-com bubble, they of course had a team and they invested in several startups, and they actually lost like 7 out of 10 investments that they had. Like they went literally to zero. But some of them were really good. They invested in Audible, among others, that really went really well for them. But nevertheless, what most people do, they invest all their money into a startup and hope that's going to go well, which it might sometime, right? Everyone want to find a new unicorn, but we only invest a very small amount of our assets into startups, and the rest we allocate to bigger investments, if you like, the biggest cryptos, and then smaller cryptos, but even still big. And we trade as well, and we do staking and different kind of things, but we keep the majority of our money fairly safe. So I can mention a few things that we look at. And obviously, it's very similar to when you look at startups out in the real world. So we definitely do our due diligence on the team. And I mean, that's why we loved Xandeum, because you, Bernie, I mean, you have such an extensive amount of knowledge in this area. I mean, over 20 to 30 years in this very area you're working in. So we're looking for superheroes in their field. So people that have been here, they've done that, they've built businesses before, which you have, and they have a community behind them and clients as well, which is awesome. And then we do try to look for like a USP, that they have a unique selling point, and that they're quite, we don't need another game necessarily. That's not what we want to invest into. We want to invest into something that's really needed, like with Xandeum, we have a storage, right? Cloud storage, which is really important. It's only going to grow with the environment as well. We look at tokenomics, to mention another thing. So they don't have an unlimited amount of tokens. Definitely not only one of the team members, but the entire team, and what blockchain they're on, since this is technology. And we also look at, at if it's a blockchain, at latency, all those things, all the tokenomics. And then we see partners is a big part of this as well. So if they have solid partners, like many projects, they have partners such as XLM, among others, that XLM, that have partners like IBM, etc. So I think partners is a big part of this as well. But those are a few things we look at when it comes to startups, I would say.
All right, good. Thanks for that. And that leads me to my next question about the market and things like that. We're all living in a macro environment where we are here in the US, where much of the regulation is being set out for the world, but also in Europe, there's MiCA coming up and all these type of things. Where do you see the market going the next few months, but also the next few years? What are the key drivers from your view, where the market is going, and maybe even we can get a personal view of yours. Of course, nobody can predict, but maybe you have some kind of gut feeling. Where are interest rates going? Will they keep going up a little bit, or when will they start going down? What's your views on all that?
Yeah, it's a big question. Obviously, it goes without saying, no financial advice, right? And we don't know. We can only kind of guess based on our experience, which hopefully is qualified guesses. So we actually have a full research team here as well that kind of try to get all the information that we can. And then we have mentors as well that support us. But what we believe is the following, right? If we start with the crypto market, we definitely believe there's a longer term bias in this.
Awesome. Well, let's keep that a nice final word. Thank you so much, Dennis, for being here. I really enjoyed this interview, and think we've learned a lot of great things from you.